let's go into the meat and potatoes first here. So let's go back to that console and let's break down some of the initial stuff here. By the way, if y'all are here right now, I'm Triax in the face of Tryhard, your favorite global emo on Twitch. I was doing this really awesome presentation right before this happened here, so I have some. As someone, I've worked at GameStop for 4 years, '07 to 2011. I like to think I keep pretty in the know on console politics and all that. So I'm here to deliver y'all some of my insight if you want to hear about it. But let's go back here to the PS5. All this mega tease right here. All right. So here are my gut reactions. Right. Honestly, the concept. I have to be real here. Okay, I gotta be real. The concept does look better. Let's just compare. Let's compare that to this here. So this is that, and then this is the concept here. Which one to you looks better, right? The maybe it's because, like, I don't know. I'm trying to think here. Like, it's like a little bit too much. Like the concept to me is the has a little bit more like. I don't know how to put it here. Maybe this feels like it's got like a really, really big nose, something like that. Or maybe it cost me the corner though. Like, you're seeing an unflattering direct view from this one right here. Should probably compare a 3/4 angle comparatively. But this to that, but either way, that's just like a minor thing, not really a big deal here. I can't make out. So here we see a USB-A port, USB-C port. We have 2 ports. Is that ports right here? I can't make out what the hell that is. Disk loading slot tray. Confirmed ultra HD 4K Blu-ray drive finally, vacant PS4 Pro for some dumbass reason. Are they buttons? It's hard to make out right there. We got ventilation throughout here. Nice little LED strip along the sides to give you some illumination, to make it look all nice and cool with the indirect lighting and all that. Sony emblem on the inside panel, PS logo on the outside, top onto the top right from a bird's eye view. I still can't make out what the hell these are here. If they're buttons, it's like hard to make out what kind of buttons they are, honestly. I assume it includes the stand. I'm not quite sure if it does or does not. Like, is there even like a non-vertical mode? Because I can't imagine that if you're gonna debut it in vertical orientation, one would think that, okay, well, there are many entertainment systems and stands that would prefer like a horizontal link kind of thing right there. So not quite sure on that one just yet here. I would think it can go horizontal as well as vertical, but I could be wrong on that, honestly. Is the stand bundled or is the stand a separate purchase? Oh wait, let's go back here. Let's go back a little bit. And this is still our. Is that our USB-A port from a different angle coming up here, and then the USB-C? I'm not quite sure. It cuts off a little bit too quick here. Where are we coming from here? Let's go back a little bit. Does the Thunderbolt the Thunderbolt? I don't know. Yeah, I think it's a Thunderbolt 3.0 port. I would be honestly shocked. Well, what I'm confused by there is that, like, okay, if that is a USB A port, this is a USB-C right here. If I'm looking at the right thing, those are the buttons down there, and this is the front of the face of the console, if you will, here. If that is the case here, the thing there about that is, like, I don't see a USB A port being Thunderbolt 3.0. That would be for the USB-C. I wouldn't see this lightning emblem being next to that port. Again, I can't tell concretely where we are right here right now, though, so it's kind of hard for me to really say. I would, because a USB-C form factor can house and be home to a Thunderbolt port. Though I would wonder if they are including Thunderbolt 3, which is pretty crazy, or even Thunderbolt anything really here. It's like that's a lot more than just like a regular power pass through or vanilla like a micro USB or mini USB. So if it were Thunderbolt, I'm like, okay, you wanna transmit data, audio, video, and a fuck ton of power all at the same time. That's no small task, and that's a pretty powerful port to do, no doubt. It would be pretty cool if it has that, but it also, to me, would indicate that you want to do a lot there. So if it is a Thunderbolt 3, hypothetically here, that tells me that the PlayStation VR Gen 2, next gen 2.0 for PS5 will be a lot simpler. If anyone here has used the PSVR for PS4 and PS4 Pro, you know that it's like an absolute nightmare of wires. It involves like literally 5 HDMI cables, a separate external peripheral. It's a shit show. Comparatively, Thunderbolt 3 would make a lot of that way easier to deal with here. You would think it would just be like, you know, headset, cord, maybe 2 cords at most here. It goes down and does a thing. It is a nightmare of cords, actually. Yeah, the more I look at it, I'm like, okay, so if you look at the angle right here, it does look a little, what's the word here? Elongated or convex? Is that what I'm looking for right now? It doesn't look like it can really, it can be, this side can't be the bottom. Maybe this side was flat. I haven't seen the other angle 3/4. This is a little hard to see right there on that one, but let's keep going though. I'm sure there are some, sure we got some more concrete stuff to look at right here. Also, I mean, do you guys think there's anything new right here though? If like the DualSense controller now being seen to scale side by side with the PS5, does that give a good indication of its size here? Like, all right, on its side. Ooh, okay. Interesting. Okay. It's almost like, you know, the slot loading disc tray is the mouth, and you want to like personify it a little bit. There's actual word for that, but like, it just feels like a kind of like a weird opportunity here. It feels like this like really weird, like it almost makes a face, but then it doesn't because of just how much how big the middle strip is, if you will. But you know, regardless, though, it's just like a pure aesthetic thing, and it could be a shock factor to me. Not really holding it accountable here. I like that I'm seeing a strong emphasis on ventilation with the whole with this whole series of exhaust ports. It seems right, and it's done in a way where it's gonna be kind of hard to block those if you wanted to. So, I do admit it's not the prettiest thing in the world to me, but again, form follows function. So, I mean, to be honest here, I also thought the Xbox Series X was kind of like a boring thing to look at as well here. So, you know, take with that whatever you want. Try my best here. I'm just being genuine. I'm not trying to like. I'm not here to like shit on anyone or anything here. You know, I'm just bring it to your attention. Okay, that's pretty cool though. I'm gonna go ahead and throw that out there for a retweet. All right, so USB-A with a lightning emblem, and then you got a USB emblem in front of a USB-C port as well. But again, is that USB-C port? What's its spec though, right? What's its power delivery? Is it, you know, what is it? Is it USB 3.2 in form factor of USB-C? Is it Thunderbolt? You know, there's, you know, it's so hard to know at this point here because there's so many things it could be, right? But I would, it wouldn't surprise me if they're trying to like, they're going to use that somehow to like make their PSVR way less stupid than it currently is now. So noteworthy here, okay, it is perfectly symmetrical when it's a discless version. Okay. Digital edition. Okay, so this is interesting here, right? So you got a digital edition, then you have the disc version, right? Obviously, performance will be the same because all the optical disc is doing is just installing the whatever 80 gigabytes or whatever how big it's going to be. You know, these like minimum dual layered Blu-ray discs will be inserted, written to the you know, the super uber SSD, the PCIe 4.0 spec NVMe SSD, and beyond that, once you put the disc in, once you put the disc in, you have to have the disc in for the console to play the game, I would assume, right? I don't know. I'm like new to this whole thing here now. One would assume here you have to like physically get up and put discs in and out. That way it verifies you still own the game or whatever, right? Some kind of like DRM or whatever. But for the digital version, obviously you can just like, you know, get in, fire up, and go out of here. That is interesting here now. So we're having a next gen entry that's going to be attempted to be marketed as digital only. One has to assume here that the digital version will be cheaper. So I guess the criteria that comes to mind right now, y'all, is okay, like hypothetically, okay, so when it launches, there will be a disc full and a discless digital, all digital version. One where you are essentially tethered to the ecosystem of the Sony marketplace for your PS5 content. The question then becomes, okay, I think, so question one is, chat, are you at all open to ever getting a discless 9th generation console? Right? That's question one. Are you at all? You can say no right away, and that's totally fair. However, if you say yes at all, the question is, okay, well, how much of a discount do you want to see reflected and being held hostage on a digital only platform, knowing that currently DRM doesn't exactly give you, very lucrative rights and things like that. Now, you can say no, not away, never, whatever, but let's take a second here and let's evaluate the whole thing right now. If I asked you this in 90 and 98, hey, would you ever want to buy, digital only music? You probably would say, hell no, never, no. But then, then things got better because at that time the prices were absurd, and I don't know, the $1 per song didn't exist via iTunes' model, nor any kind of like music subscription. I mean, if I recall back here, like Zune was like the first major one I saw to offer like a $15 a month music subscription library of access way back then. Others followed suit, by the 2010s, but we've come a long way since then. So, and now it's like who majority of people probably hop on Spotify or wherever they want to at this point to consume music regularly. I don't think people are consuming on a per album purchase basis, nor do I think y'all are hitting up FM radio in the year 2020, because good Lord, I can hear the dust balls coming out of your mouth when you say that. So never say never. I think the actual answer for most of y'all would be that you are open to digital or a digital only set-top box if the price was compelling, the advantages were there, and if like you felt, I guess, consumer confidence that your library would remain intact. Now, it is fair to say that you don't feel that because library preservation in a console game, or really in video games, is pretty fucking awful. I think that's a very fair point to say here about that. It is a shit show. I hear you on that loud and clear. So I understand here. I'm just making a point about the modernization of consumption of music. It's not exactly the same thing in video games. I get that, but PC folks have been hitting it up for a while now in a pretty rapid approach. I imagine coronavirus now has been making the consumption of games pretty powerful here. I feel like a lot of people who would never go digital at the peak of coronavirus in USA, a fuck ton of y'all ended up buying Animal Crossing digital because you're like, I mean, I don't want to go to GameStop. I don't want to get the Rona. I don't even want to go outside, but I'm stressed out and miserable and depressed and sad and everything else here. So I need a fun, comfy game to hop on. And I think for a lot of y'all, Animal Crossing was that clutch, and the safest way to access that was to buy it digitally. So I could be wrong there. That's a hunch. I don't have data to reinforce it, but that is something I wanted to bring to your attention right here. Okay, so with that in mind here, in a hypothetical world where I'm going to assume here at this point that the disc full PS5 is $500, $499. Okay, let's go with that, right? Because it's got some pretty pricey components in there. I doubt they want to sell for a loss. It's a hard read right now, but just for the sake of this argument here, let's go ahead and go with that, right? What a digital only PS5, I'd have to say it would maybe $100 cheaper, and that would officially be them selling it at a loss. That would let them say that lucrative thing where, hey, starting at $399, you could pound $399 down the throat of every person all day long and be like, yo, 9th gen, $399 starting at, right? So you get that right there, and they'll more than recoup that loss in hardware money or whatever, because now you're locked in, dude. Like they're attacking the used game market. They're keeping you hostage in the digital Sony platform. It makes them a fuck ton more money here. The thing about digital here, if you look at it from and this is all nothing new, I'm just explaining for people who don't already know here, from a publisher or developer POV, when you're buying digital only games, what happens here is that, actually there's 2 points I want to make here. One is that, from their POV, you buy a digital only game, you are now excluding paying money to, say, a retailer. Now Target, Best Buy, GameStop, Walmart, whoever, now they don't get a cut in it because they're not part of the distribution of the sale of that game anymore. One. Two, there's no physical inventory management. You don't have to like have it secured on an 18-wheeler, secured in a retail outlet, and secured and having to like acquire retailer space. Generally, the larger the object is, the more you have to cough up money to retailers like Walmart or whoever to like hold your shit, because it's heavy, it costs money, it takes up space. And it's like every square inch of every retailer like store ever doesn't want big bulky shit. This was a headache for everyone involved here. So like, believe you me, I'm not even part of that here. When we're at GameStop here, let me tell you how annoying those Guitar Hero and Band Hero instrument bundles were, because it took up so much space. It was like, I have like 16 of these, like, Rock Band the Beatle bundles, and I don't know where the fuck to put them at because they're big as shit. So ultimately, yeah, it's less stressful for everyone involved here whenever you occupy the least amount of space possible, and you also minimize the possibility entirely of internal theft with retailers stealing, or with employees stealing copies, or them being misplaced, or all that stuff. It's all logistics, and it all requires money and bullshit. So from the back end POV, digital only is incredibly lucrative for them, because again, it removes those outlets and makes the profit come back to generally the publisher more often, which sometimes means more money for the developer here, but that's a different topic for a different day. Point is, yeah, they most certainly want to go digital sooner rather than later. They want to kill and gut used game sales, because then if there's no used games to buy, now everyone's buying only new, and then all game sales are coming back to them. If you didn't know, I think a lot of y'all do know here, but in case you didn't know, when you're buying used games and entering the used game market, none of the money of that, if you buy Breath of the Wild for $35 used at GameStop, all that is pure GameStop profit. That is not like there's no Nintendo involved there whenever you're buying a used game, for example. So they're most certainly interested in obliterating the used game market however they can. But at the same time here, they know that they can't do anything crazy stupid like Xbox did in 2013 and say, hey, look, we're going to lock you down and say we're going to arbitrarily limit the whatever of used games, and we're going to say that when you put that disc in your Xbox one time ever to play it, that license is tied to you and only your Xbox. And if your Xbox is not online, it will verify your license of that game X, your profile. If it doesn't match, you're out. So they were going to do that until the backlash was so universally negative that they were like and they took it back with that enormous day one firmware patch that undid all the stupid shit they were going to do in the first place. Anyways, though, let it be known here, everybody wants to do that, but they can't, because the backlash from you all, the fans, the supporters, the consumers, would outweigh that profit margin, or that profit incentive, if you will. So they most certainly are interested in doing that here, and I would think here they're going to offer the discless version will be $399. That way they can make that price point come really home here, because the whole thing here is like starting at $399. You make the word starting at really small, $399, really big, and then when you get in there, you get in Best Buy on day one with your cock out, pre-cum leaking everywhere. You're just like, yep, I'm ready. Eggplants in chat, by the way. I'm ready. You find out that the disc full version you want, Mr. Person who's out here in like rural South Dakota with trash internet. Clearly you can't get the digital version because your internet's booty butt. Yeah, it's gonna be $499. So that's my speculation from this right now. I do admit, yeah, the digital version is symmetrical and it is a little bit more visually appeasing. Of course, the question for me here is like, would I get the digital version? As of right now, no. Even though I say all that here, like, my question for y'all is, there's several of them, right? The question goes back here to how much do I trust Sony? Like, okay, if I'm investing in a digital only platform for the entirety of this console generation, as far as Sony's concerned here, can I trust y'all? Will I actually own these games for a long period of time? Are you going to negotiate that these licenses you have here are going to be valid for a very long period? Or is it going to be like Booty Butt Cheeks, where you have Capcom and Marvel collaborate? You have the release of Ultimate Marvel's Capcom 3, and then when Marvel is acquired by Disney randomly later on here and says, no, fuck this, we don't want to do this anymore, that, oh, the game you already bought is no longer available to re-download off the PSN store. I need to make sure you got my back here for at least the right to like consume and have the game that I already bought, So the question comes to that. The question comes to, okay, well, digital games I bought on PS3, are they playable on PS4? Digital games I bought on PS4, are they playable on PS5? Is my library are you going to make a conscious effort to have my library that I bought with your hostage money loyal to your platform? Will it still work on your platform is the question here. So that's what I need to see here. That's the question I have to ask here. And I want to see Sony do a lot more to really bring home the consumer trust on going digital before I would consider a digital only PS5. We will see. We will see right there. Also, the other thing here too now is, as well as we saw in the game developer conference, the GDC conference way back when, that allegedly it's not even a 1 terabyte SSD, which, okay, that's not a deal breaker, but I do foresee a throttle on games here. In a world where you have a digital only, and we're talking you might see games average out here in this size point now. You might see if we're talking less than 1 terabyte, right? It's like what, like 800 gigabytes is the size of the whole thing now. So, if we're seeing that here, it's going to be like, all right, well, if the average PS5 AAA title is going to be probably pushing 65 to 100 gigabytes each, you might see a point where hey, here's you got 9 games installed, you got to uninstall one to keep going here. Not the end of the world, obviously. And there will be, I guess, obviously there's going to be the capacity to store additional games on an external drive, and you can rapidly switch between them and things like that here. But that I do see that being a concern here. A little bit. We'll see though. I mean, it's a concern in this generation. It won't be a problem right away, but I think you will see. I think you've already seen now here that how games just kind of have ballooned out of control. But to be fair, they did address in that same GDC conference here that because of games have bloated because of how the load mechanisms with proximity based asset loading and how that worked. You had a lot of redundant duplicates of things continuously all the time, and you might see games actually slow down, actually shrink in size because you don't have to do that proximity loading anymore. So at least for first party, you might see games kind of slow down and more approach the 40 to 50 gigabyte size because they don't have to do that anymore. So we'll see. I do admit here though, and the symmetry does help the digital for me a lot. I kind of low key would wish that the disc full version had had a let's call it an ass implant, just do a little crap, what's his name, Eddie Murphy, what's his name, dude, fuck, I keep thinking Dr. Dolittle, Nutty Professor. Yeah, you need to do a Nutty Professor and put some ass implants in that left side right there, and blow up a little bit, so and maybe give it some thick hips here, what I mean? Got the right ass cheek, hella thick. The left ass cheek, man, this thing got a whole turkey in there. This one got one slice of Christmas ham. What's up with that? So oh my god. So but regardless, so that's not even practical for the function right there. But I'm bringing up here the aesthetics on an irrelevant of function point of view. Moving on here though, so we got that, and digital edition. Okay. Also noteworthy is that someone said earlier these were buttons, and you can see here now that there is obviously a power and eject button or touch surface thingy right here. Here is only one of those buttons, so obviously it was for power. It's power. So power, eject, power only, no slot. And okay, so we got the DualSense here. Nothing new here. I think I've already did a lot of talking on this one right here. The controller looks cool. The controller looks really expensive. I never got a confirmation here if the controller does does detect like heart rate when you're holding it. That way, you can use that as a means to like get important user data to like adapt the game around the stress level of a person or whatever. What's the expected storage size for the digital version? Well, okay. Thanks for the bits, by the way. We know from the GDC conference here that the what was specified is that it would be about less than a terabyte. I want to say about 860 gigabytes. It was a particular size here for that SSD. But that was when we thought there was one SKU. Now we know there's a digital and a non-digital version. Maybe the digital version would be a little bit bigger, but I kind of doubt that though. I think they're really aiming just to kind of get this $399 price point out one way or the other and call it a day. So I would suspect $399 and $499, which I want to come back again to asking y'all more about that a little bit later on here. But this controller though, it looks mad expensive. I hate to break it to y'all here, like if you hate this trend of controllers being like $70 onward, I don't see that going anywhere, unfortunately. So but you got some new improvements now though. You got the touch bar, you got the haptic triggers. We have the now there's like a speaker and microphone built in here, so you can like get things done essentially when you're playing online with the controller and all that. It won't be the best quality in the world here, obviously, because of the proximity to your face and all that when you're holding the controller, obviously, but it is there. There is now additional functionality. You don't have to have your headset in the entire time you're playing the thing when you're playing it online. So there is that. Charging station. That's bro, like I'm good, dude. Like I've seen these come in so many times, dude. Like you buy these things and it's just like, I don't know, dude. All right, well, if like, what do you do with your DualShock 4 charging station? What do you do with your DualShock 3 charging station? They just rot away, dude. Just like rot into the crater they go. I'm good. Camera, again, I'm good. Pulse 3D wireless headset. Okay. I'm intrigued here. I assume it's gonna probably be really good, and they made a headset specifically for milking that 3D audio they're talking about a crap ton here. The thing I worry about is that price point, dog. Like this, like there's no way these things are under $100. So with that in mind, it's like, damn, dude, man, I'm buying. Man, I gotta buy a console. I gotta buy games. I gotta buy this headset. Like, okay, dude. Like, so it's just like it's gonna be. Y'all got $1,000 ready? You still got your you got the Rona bucks check, y'all, because about to drop it right here. All right, Meteor Remote. Okay, so anything we have new here? We have volume, microphone. Okay, we got it has a microphone built in here. Mute, input, directional navigation, menu, return, your media controls, and then mappables 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe these buttons light up here. We don't quite know yet. But the remote is pretty cool here. It does not look cheap though. The fact that it has a microphone on it to speak to it, one would assume here, means that this is probably like this remote's probably 40 plus here. I mean, more power to you. Just use your controller, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, so no mention of the VR at all here. Let's see. Noteworthy here, we have no backside, right? I don't know if the backside would really reveal anything new here other than like, the backside would, okay, if the backside was revealed here, it would confirm whether or not the PlayStation 4 VR headset is compatible. It does use like this proprietary, expansion port that you have to use in order to like do it. And if that port is not even there, then as far as we know right now, it wouldn't be compatible here. One would assume though that they, I don't know, man, you get burned pretty hard if you bought a PS4 VR headset and it's not even compatible with your PS5. I would assume they're gonna go out of the way to make sure that that's at least usable. It won't be ideal. It's still gonna be like 5 HDMI cables and a giant bird's nest of shit everywhere here, but at least I would hope to see that backwards compatibility of peripherals usable. At the same time here, same thing for, honestly, DualShock 4. I don't see why, other than a game requiring specific functionality of a DualSense controller, I don't see why DualShock 4 isn't compatible. I think people are really, really, really tired of like these accessories being per generation and just like going in the crater they go. So Okay, cool. So we got that right there. And but yeah, if the back would reveal, I assume, you know, dedicated gigabit Ethernet port, you know, HDMI 2.0 port. Important there, HDMI 2.0 port, so that it technically could achieve 120 FPS if games wanted to support it. Also 120, also HDMI 2.0 would support, I believe 8K output. Not saying games are gonna run at 8K, but it's the idea that if there's, you know, you're one firmware patch away from like playing 8K movies or just outputting 8K display at any point here, right? So correct me if I'm wrong there, right? Is that 2.0 or is that 2.1? I could be wrong actually. Forgive me here. I'm remembering like 2.0 HDMI 2.0 does 120 hertz, right? And it does like 120 hertz 1080p, and it does like 4K 60, I want to say. The HDMI 2.0 spec, but HDMI 2.1, I may make up shit right now, I forget here. I know like one of them does like 8K output at some point here, and what spec the HDMI port is in the back of the PS5 will determine the longevity of like what's going to be able to do. So we'll see. I do believe Xbox Series X does have HDMI 2.0 ports in the back here, so we'll have to see about that as well. Oh yeah, Ethernet port, HDMI 2.0 or higher, obviously. Maybe that expansion port on the back of the PS4 as well, so you can do the VR headset. Digital optical audio cable, and of course the power cable. And you know, and again, not to be assumed here, but is the power supply built in? If the power supply is internal, then the power cord will be nice and thin, like it was on the PS4. If the power supply is external, then you'll have a big ugly brick in the middle of your cord. You know, we'll have to see. We don't know. You know, it's I don't want to assume here, right? So I got to bring it to your attention here that could be a thing. So I do agree. External is like kind of annoying now. I would say like I am definitely team make your console bigger if you have to. Just, you know, like nobody wants the power brick. Dude, the power brick's annoying as hell, honestly. So so you know, yeah, so we have that right there. Freaking reminder again. Someone give me a picture here of the first generation Xbox 360 power brick. That thing was so ridiculous, dude. It was like, bro, this thing is bigger than a Chihuahua. Like it was dumb. It was actually fucking dumb, dude. It was like, yeah, dude. It was like I was like, is this thing is gonna burn more electricity than my air conditioner. Like I was like scared to play that thing. And I'm like, this thing gonna burn my house down, dude. Like you saw that thing and you were like, man, I could put a hand on this thing and use it as a baton. I could beat someone with this thing if I wanted to. You could throw that thing out a car window and that window would break. The car window would lose straight up. Like it was, bro. That thing was dumb. Okay, dude. All right. Okay, y'all got the y'all got the memes right now, dude. Okay. All right. God damn it, dude. What? It's a piece of paper wrapped around the router. I'm dead. It took me the second time to see that, dude. With all that in mind here, the next step is like, okay, someone give me a list of the games that were announced today. Let's look at that again here. There's some things look live to you right there. Some of y'all are saying, ooh, y'all think 500 for digital, 600 for disc? Y'all really think that Sony's gonna do anything priced at $600 again after PS3 happened? Y'all serious right now? Y'all think that Sony would make a console at $600 again, knowing that that made all of y'all lose your shit for like at least 2 years straight? Okay. Hard pill to swallow right there. The PS3's like, I feel like y'all didn't pay attention to my whole presentation here. Like the PS3's bloated excessive feature set resulted in a price point that they couldn't do anything but be priced at $600 and still lose money on the console being sold here. That was 100% a case of Ken Kuntaragi's, like, you know, it's going to be a cell processor. It's going to be the future of computing. He wanted to redo the whole like thing, right? It was like most certainly way beyond being a game machine here. When you have we have Mark Sinry as your lead engineer. He's making it like as a dedicated game machine that is refined in its focus here of being pro developer, I would imagine. The PS4 was $399. The PS5 might go, it might go $499 on because of like where we are right now, the pain points of trying to like achieve the next level of like competitive fidelity for gaming, which is going to be that crazy SSD. But at the same time here though, it's like the idea that's going to get anywhere near bloated enough to be $600 to me is a really hard pill to swallow. I feel like Sony would fight really hard. I feel like they actually would lose money on consoles first before replicating any of the mistakes of PS3, especially if PS3's launched at this point here. So I don't know. I find it to be a very hard pill to swallow because gamers remember that was a big sting, dude. And unlike then, we have a gaming recession now that's even worse than it was way back then. So it's like, economic recession. I'm sorry, and actually really an economic depression now with like, you know, what's the number now? Like what, like 40 million unemployed right now? It's awful. It's actually awful right now. So it's like, I find it to be a really hard pill to swallow right there. But you know, that's just me throwing you what I got for you right there though. And we can say, and it's fair to say that, well, I mean, look, Sony won, they won PS4, they won last gen with total units moved or whatever easily, you know, whatever last gen consists of at this point, if you're excluding Switch or whatever may be here in regards of comparisons and all that. Anyways though, the thing here is that I feel like the X factor I'm trying to get back to here is let me go over here for a second. The X factor here, y'all, that I keep bringing up here is Mark Cerny. Mark Cerny, like I was saying before here, this is the guy who is the reason why the PS4, in my opinion, was heading towards the right direction, was redeeming all of the painful inaccessibility of utilizing the PS3. It was annoying to develop for, as was the PS2 to an extent as well here. Again, I brought both points earlier under Kurtadagi's leadership on the architecture of that console. PS4 was way more pleasant to develop for comparatively to those previous generations, and I can't imagine that he got any less influence here going forward here. So with that in mind, it's like, I don't know, y'all. I don't think he's going to exist in a vacuum and make those same mistakes here, in my opinion. It seems like a really weird thing to do. I could be wrong, but I feel like the difference here is like when you have a non-Japanese person being your lead architect for your next generation of hardware, and he's not even Japanese, that says a lot. So I would trust his judgment here, and I would assume that. Now, for those of y'all who are saying that, okay, yeah, it's gonna be $600, I'm just like, are you gonna buy it? Like, you think it's gonna be that much here, but I'm like, are you willing to pay $600 for a console? $660 including tax? No games yet? Like, I feel like for most, the answer there is like, yeah, it's out of reach here. I feel like, yeah, like you got to be like a hyper fan. And then again, I know people who are probably would maybe say yes right now, but now they feel outnumbered because of the hive mind of chat saying no, because yeah, it's a pretty inaccessible price point ultimately here. So with all that in mind here, it's just like, I find that to be a very hard pill to swallow. I don't think anyone, because at that point here, the other issue too, y'all, is like, okay, and I drilled this before here earlier here, the PS5, unlike the price point of comparison to the PS3, these consoles now exist in a post-smartphone world. Even beyond that, they exist in a post-tablet world. So it's like, when you look at, and you can say here, well, I mean, people buy $1,000 phones every year. Okay, the difference there, and I hear this argument all the time here, the difference there is that the value perception of a smartphone, and even for a tablet, are very different than a console. We've gotten to the point now where I think it's fair to assess here that an internet is like a required utility. Good luck applying for most jobs without internet. Good luck getting really much of anything here done without email. Good luck, yada yada yada, right? Like who in 2020 is like going and paying every bill by physically going to the store physically going to your electric company, physically going to your cable company and paying your bills like it's the 90s here. I would say no one, right? Internet, it should be a utility. It's not, it's annoying, it's dumb. USA sucks, whatever, nothing's new here. But regardless though, there's that. With that in mind here, the tool and portal to get to the internet, your smartphone at this point for most people here, is most certainly being kind of seen as a escalating necessity of daily function. It's not technically necessary, but the convenience and ease of use and all the other shit there, you already know what I'm getting at now. It's 2020. I don't have to really sell you on smartphones are useful, obviously. So with that in mind, you kind of look at it like, okay, well, I need a car, I need communication, I need a phone. So to me, phones are perceived very differently on their valuation because they're seen as an extension of a utility by this point. It's 2020. If you disagree with that, okay, well then then you know, I'll come visit you in the Amish country and then we'll go smoke some fat doinks in the back, you know, ye old and yonder, you know what I mean? Like, so with all that in mind here, hey, I'm where am I going this here? I'm getting to it. You not follow so far? Internet, utility, smartphone, utility, smartphone required. Gaming console is not required. It's a recreational escapism tool meant for entertainment. It's not required, so it's not seen as necessarily necessary. So the evaluation hits a little bit harder when it's a non-essential purchase, is what I'm getting at here. So with all that in mind, so I find it's going to be a lot harder to justify these higher price points in 2020 in the competition of a smartphone. I feel like a lot of parents for children will look at consoles and be like, well, I can get you that game console, or I can just get you an iPad and you can use that to do all your social media and some gaming and things like that. You know, that's the whole thing here. When you get in these higher price points, you're not entering the same spectrum as like competing tablets, I would think, or a competing smartphone comparatively. I find you'll do a lot better when you serve your base at that much more accessible price point compared to being much higher there. I don't think it's no secret sauce there with the whole, like, where price points are currently with like PS4 Pro and Switch, and them selling really well. I don't think they would like do anywhere near as well, obviously, with a higher price point. And I don't think Sony's really eager to enter that realm and have to fight that uphill battle comparatively, especially with, like, you know, all that bad blood from a little over 10 years ago. So and again, you can disagree with me if you want to here. Totally fine. I mean, I'm a lot of y'all were saying here you're not going to buy a $300 console, and I'm reinforcing to you why such a price console is probably not also in the agenda for Sony to release either here. Is my whole point. If you follow me with that, all right? So yeah, I feel pretty strongly that it'll be $399 for a digital, and it'll be $499 for the disc full version, and we go from there. We got Horizon Forbidden West sequel, Pragmata, which is that Capcom new IP, apparently not exclusive. Okay, Resident Evil 8, Capcom, not exclusive. Deathloop, Bethesda. Demon Souls, Bugsnax was kind of weird. NBA 2K1, Devil Inside. Astro's Playroom is exclusive. Hitman 3, Solar Ash from the development team behind Hyper Light Drifter. Godfall from Gearbox. Jet the Far Shore. Oh, that was that. Yeah, that game didn't have enough content for me to really care about it. Ghostwire's atmosphere looked cool, but I admit the gameplay looked a little boring. Oddworld, tight. Goodbye Volcano High looks cool. I think it looks cool, but you know, chat hates anything, so I don't know what's going on with that one there. Y'all can be mad. I'll see you when it comes out. Oh yeah, Kenna Bridge of Spirits is that Ori / Pikmin / really cool looking game, so that game has my interest as well. Destruction All Stars, generic bad name for a game that I don't really care about anyway, so we move on. Sackboy looks cool. I need to see more though. Like, I mean, I might check it out, maybe, we'll see. Returnal looks interesting, but you know, we'll see. Stray looks really cool with the it looks cool, but again, I need to see more gameplay, but I am intrigued by its concept, at least here. from Square Enix here, Project Athia, however you say it here. That one, the thing there is like, is that a code name? Is that the actual name of the IP itself? Is this Final Fantasy 16? Like, what is going on here, right? There's a lot to dive into on that one. So I'm intrigued, but I don't think we got a release year on that either. So it's kind of like really up in the air, right? Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, tight. Gran Turismo 7, tight. I mean, well, I don't know. We'll see. Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales, coming out this year. Okay, that's a pog. That is a pog. All right, well, so honestly, I didn't tell you this yet here, but of course, the $1 million question here is, all right, well, Trihex, are you getting a PS5 this year? Yeah. Well, I was going to anyway. I'm sorry. I'm on mute notification now. I'm sorry about that.
Title Most Wear 2021 with dates. Do you think that will hurt Sony, or you think their fan base will just buy it because they had the previous gen?
Sorry. Let's okay. Let me go back here now. I have a couple of bits here. Quantum. What was your question?
If digital outsells disc version, will it be the end of CD-ROMs in video games? Xbox seems to be going the same way too.
I would say no. So this is a good question, and one that might scare some of y'all here. Let me clarify why. So the reason why you're not going to see an all digital video game revolution come, overnight, is because, well, keep in mind here, it's one, to offer a digital only version that's cheaper is very different than completely getting rid of the physical drive entirely. The dominant reason why this won't happen is the same reason why cloud gaming is not advancing to a dramatic point here. Ultimately, our internet infrastructure is just not caught up to that capacity yet. We're throttled by that point here. You're only as strong as your weakest link, and the weakest link right now by far here is the consistency of internet, the reliability of wireless communications, and other things like that. Given that, I'll be totally real here, given that internet just totally sucks ass in majority of the US, and even worse yet, is not even broadband internet's not even accessible in certain, and I want to say like majority of rural areas in USA. Again, we can go over what rural actually means here at this point. Yeah, it's just bad. It's really bad. If you are a gamer and you want to like rock out, with your online gaming, it's like, damn, dude. Well, I don't think you're living in North Dakota. I don't think you're living in Montana. I don't think you're living in, rural Ohio. Or I'm sorry, rural Idaho. There's just a lot of spots where if you're not in a big city, I think your internet's probably gonna be pretty trash altogether, right? Like just really shit. And even beyond that, let's say like you want to like really get it. You want that gigabit fiber optic internet. I mean, how many US cities currently offer fiber optic internet? I feel like the answer is like not a lot. I want to say when I was looking into this, like back when I was in 2012 and I had typical garbage internet, your Time Warner, your Comcast, your Spectrums, whatever it may be here. When I had that, and I hate it, dude. I was like, my internet was crap. It wasn't working. When the kids got home from work and they played Call of Duty, my internet would shit out because it was, it was a traffic saturation based thing, because it was coaxial broadband, because it freaking sucks. And yeah, that was like super annoying. And thank you, Camel Corn. It was super annoying. So I had to I hated it. I wanted to move where the internet was good. But I think there's I think the total here is like between 18 to 30 US cities offer some form of gigabit fiber optic internet, whether it comes from Google Fiber, AT&T, Gigapower, or a locally owned ISP that provides fiber internet. It's just, yeah, it's crap, dude. So whenever you're throttled by that, the ambition of going digital only, it hurts way more of your consumers than it benefits anyone here, really. So there's just too many areas in USA where you can't thank you, Mike, where you can't get to that point, you know. So I don't see digital only being like a real threat to retail anytime soon because of that right there. Like, our infrastructure is like antiquated and like very outdated here, and it would take a whole lot of lobbying power to get these greedy, awful internet companies to ever want to like fix their stuff, because ultimately they have no competition really. So it super sucks. So yeah, we're gonna be still rolling digital for a little bit, or physical for quite a bit here. I'd have to like think about the question more though, as far as like to tell you like what compelling scenarios need to play out for things to migrate towards digital further. Now, you will continue to see digital play a bigger and bigger factor, I believe, with coronavirus accelerating that entire behavior pattern. But I don't see that being anywhere near a threat of elimination, like to the point where you see like video game aisles be reduced to just like digital only, like coupon redemptions. I don't see that happening anytime soon. Ultimately, I think it's a little bit annoying because we're still in the dark for so long here, but I do think there's going to be more conferences coming in the future. Because I don't know, I can't say why, but it does seem they want to dominate the news and kind of like, you know, tickle feed you and drip you information over time here. So I'm not sure what their plan is now, when we're going to get more of those concrete reveals and all that. Have they revealed all their cards yet? We don't know. They're playing their cards really close. Even now in coronavirus here, the leaks and all that. The question is, the question really becomes here, like, what happens going forward? Because to me, the controller reveal was sudden and it was meant to beat leaks because things were leaking out or whatever. I don't think they wanted to reveal the controller until they had the whole thing all packaged together for an initial March reveal. Keep that in mind too, by the way. Here, I do think they initially wanted to do this reveal back in March, around or before GDC. But they didn't because, you know, coronavirus happened. That threw off a lot of the plans there, ultimately. So, not sure yet. Not sure yet on that one here. Tough to say. As is right now, I don't think you have enough here to launch a console in 2020, obviously. But I also think here we don't know everything yet. I will say that. I feel pretty confident they have more to reveal. As much as today, I don't know, but we will see. Let's go back here to the all right, wait for it here. Let me grab that real quick. To the recap here. All right, so we were looking here again. So yeah, GTA 5, you know, the third generation dip edition. I never heard of a game of this, actually. Damn, dude. You bought it on PS3, you bought it on PS4, you bought it on PC, and now it's coming to PS5. I mean, what more could it even do? I'm honestly asking here. I guess GTA 5 is just a cash cow that never freaking dies here, but like, what can you even do at this point? Oh my god, dude. Like, it's actually about to outflex Skyrim now for number of ports here. You know what I'm saying? So like, oh my god, dude. Nickelodeon Kart Racers 2. Oh, we have things that actually weren't oh, okay, that's the thing. All right. Bravery Network Online, whatever that is. Okay. Star Renegades, Jack Move, Samurai Jack Battle Through Time. Oh, okay. Spellbreak. Where did these come from, actually? Oh, these like previously announced here. So yeah, to answer your question here, will I get a PS5 this year? Yes. I'm already gonna get a PS5 on the bias of wanting to play Spider-Man Miles Morales. So I'm pretty excited for that. I still do expect there to most certainly be a PS5 enhancement for God of War 2018 and for Spider-Man 2018. The question is, are they gonna match Xbox with the whole like smart delivery thing, where if you bought it, you have it, you get to play like the best and newest version of it, or you know, instead will it be like, you know, you gotta buy you know, you got to double up and buy the new version, and the other one becomes like really obsolete here. Tough to say. We don't really know. Yeah, the new Spider-Man is PS2, is PS5 exclusive. So, all right. Well, with that done, let's check out the. Let's go over to. I want to rewatch the. Like Pragmata looks interesting. Resident Evil 8 looks interesting. But there's not really enough gameplay here for me to really like make a great call on what those have about them. Let's look at Demon Souls again. Let's look at Spider-Man again. So a couple things there, right? Caption on PS5. That implies that it also become the PS4. And if that were true, that also implies, that would also imply then that like, maybe this actually isn't what I think it is. Maybe it's not, you know, Spider-Man 2. It's a whole game. Maybe, so it could be, and maybe it'll run on PS4 as well as PS5. And maybe it's DLC. Maybe this is the enhanced Spider-Man port that I think was going to happen anyway, but they're adding in a pretty big draw to get it again on PS5 via PS5 functionality, enhanced DLC portion. You know, it's hard to say here, right? So I don't know here. That's like, there's a lot to put up right there, right? I don't know if we have more information to confirm whether or not I'm like overreading things or not here, but figured I would just throw that out there for you. I don't understand this logic. Seems like a stretch. Yeah, it might be. The logic is that okay, the logic is, do you find it convincing here that they can develop a whole other Spider-Man game in 2 years? Marvel Spider-Man came out in 2018. This is coming out like this year. It's coming out in 2020. It's kind of a lot. It's kind of a lot to happen in 2 years. I find that really hard to believe that they have the whole nother game done that quickly. So I mean, maybe they do, but it's like same engine. So it's like either way, if it's same engine but new hardware, I still find that to be a pretty big hurdle to get over in 2 years, assuming development happened right away. So the logic here is that, okay, well, I don't think it's a new game. That really surprised me. But if it's DLC via HD port, that would be a little more plausible to me, given the timetable or like the time frame of like game 1 into game 2 here on new hardware. So, all right, let's next one we got the Demon Souls remake. Yeah. All right. So a couple things here about this, right? So let's so when it comes to PS5 or the Demon Souls remake here, let me go back here. Let's get a nice little freeze frame here for us to talk about this here. Yeah. Okay, so right there. So all right, let's talk. Okay. So couple things come to mind, right? So it says Japan studio. We didn't see From Software here, right? So they're probably, you know, busy making Elden Ring or whatever, and this is like you know, being handed off to them there comparatively, right? Okay, assuming that this remake here is exclusive, we don't know, right? Do we know yet here actually? The question here, I assume it's an exclusive because Demon Souls was exclusive originally. It's exclusive. Okay, cool. With that in mind, oh wait, hang on before I lose track here. Oh, tweet. Thank you. With that in mind, is this like a pretty big one for y'all? This is like I know a lot of Soulsborne people are like really hot in the pants for more of those games here. And so with that in mind, I recall a lot of people saying, you know, they were gonna get a PS4. Or they hopped on PS4 whenever Bloodborne dropped. Once Bloodborne dropped, there was like your and feel free to correct me if I'm wrong here. You know, what was the first banger killer app that made you say, okay, PS4, I'm going in? Was it not Bloodborne in 2015? Yeah, okay, so yeah, for a lot of y'all it was Bloodborne. Okay, so I was correct in that assessment then. Awesome. So with that in mind, for those who made that leap there to PS4, obviously. So with that in mind, then it's like, okay, well, would Demon Souls giving you more of that? You know, because you've been essentially stuck here. I mean, you've been stuck unanswered since then, right? Like it's been 5 years, and what have you gotten from software since? Is my question. Or wait. Did Dark Souls 3? No, wait. Yeah, Dark Souls 3 did come out in 2016. Fuck, I'm getting my timetables wrong here. I'm sorry. Sekiro happened. I'm an idiot. I'm dumb. Okay, never mind. All right. Sorry, I forgot. Sorry, I haven't played Sekiro yet, that's why I forgot about it. Okay, never mind then. All right, my point I was pushing home here is now irrelevant and full of shit. All right. Anyway, though, you know, here is your next big draw, and I wonder how many people it's gonna make come over to PS5. With the looming lucrativeness of Demon Souls Remake incoming there. Also beyond that here, what do you want to see a Demon Souls Remake do? I assume modernized controls. Let's just call it like, you know, fluid Dark Souls 3 type controls and all that, right? Like what do you want to see? You want to see it come to PC? damn boys, that was the realest right there. My boy didn't say 60 FPS. Said, what improvement do you want to see? My improvement I bid for is come to PC. Damn, that was good. That was a good one. Heard that, bro. Ooh, well, talk to me, baby. What's good? According to the trailer description, Demon Souls will have a new fractured mode. Can people actually read the description in 2020? It will feature 2 graphic modes, one for fidelity and one for frame rate. Wow. All right, boys, that's pretty hot right there.